So today's video is another episode of Father Michael's Favorite Things. One of my favorite things to do in my job and my vocation is to go to the school, as you probably heard me say before. I like to go to the school especially around lunchtime because I get to see a lot of kids and I get to eat. But it has always been a real joy to go and see the kids at that time of day. And they're used to it now, but at first I would get a lot of weird looks like, "What are you doing here?" Or "I've seen you at church," or "Who's that guy?" And they would be surprised that I would be eating with them. They'd be surprised just to see me there eating. And I was like, well, I guess it's a good thing that they see that their priest is a human being who needs to eat too. But it's a way that I can kind of we can make human contact with the kids who I love to spend time with anyway. And today in our gospel, it picks up right where our gospel yesterday left off, after the disciples saw Jesus in the breaking of the bread in Emmaus, and now they've returned back to Jerusalem to recount their experience with the other disciples. And while they're speaking, Jesus himself appears to them again. And what's their reaction? They are terror. They're just in terror about it. They think that Jesus is a ghost because they've never seen someone raised from the dead, so they think that this has to be some sort of apparition. And the way that Jesus eases their fears is by eating in front of them. He asks them if they have something to eat. So they give him a piece of baked fish. And then he shows them his hands and his side. He shows them his wounds to show that he is raised in his true body. He's raised as a human being. It wasn't some sort of apparition, not just a vision of Jesus. And if we ever think of Jesus in the resurrection as that, then we're wrong. It's really Jesus in his body, who he is. Granted, this is Jesus' glorified body, meaning that there's some differences to it, but it's a real body with flesh and bones. And so we realize then that Jesus' resurrection has great power, and it's great physical power as well. We see that in the disciples after the resurrection, with Peter and John now, who have just raised this crippled man after being crippled from birth, and now they're speaking to the people around them, saying that it's through the power of Jesus' name that this man was raised from the dead. And then they give him this whole spiel about how all the law and the prophets pointed to Jesus. But Jesus' name has power for us. His resurrection has power for us. So today let's renew our belief then in Jesus' true resurrection, in his true body that was raised from the dead. And that body that we still get to see and touch today, every time we go to Holy Mass and we experience his presence in the Eucharist, and we actually receive him into our bodies. So, my friends, Jesus is truly raised, physically raised, and he's not a ghost. He's here to stay.